is one initiative that tries to identify these positive change agents in society and try to equip them to really make positive social change happen in society on a daily basis. Change agents that really challenge the status quo as it is, that's forward thinking, that sketch positive scenarios about the future. It's difficult in this day and age, but I mean, this panel around me, we're just talking to them prior to the session. They're alive. They want to jump in. They want to get their hands dirty and want to do things because there is opportunity. And this is the change agents that we would like to see come through. And yes, people that really articulate the positive scenarios about the future. And hopefully the media will give us that opportunity to really do that. And I know that we need to step up more. But I believe that these young change agents are busy doing that.
We know that very soon, outside Africa, the world is aging. So everybody will be looking into Africa. And so the role of women right now is for us to look at, to take risks and look for other agendas that can help uplift Africa, and especially from the youth point of view, where we can come out, where it's just not only us, but we're looking at it from a point where we can help Africa burst out and, like Dr. Moyo says, channel that road that allows Africa to be looked at as the beautiful continent that it is. What Africans should do right now is that, not oblivious to the fact that there's many women in Africa who are suffering, there's disease, there's poverty, there's lack of education. If I look at my background, knowing that I studied at CSF campus, it just hits you like, this is where she comes from. But it's hard work, it's overlooking all the disasters that's happening around us that's going to drive us and make Africa a winning continent and bring out change agents, like Ralph is saying, who are going to drive this continent to places, Erik, that this world will never know. You know, this world is not prepared, and so that's what I think the role of women right now is from a youth perspective.
I think right now, that's where, not just South Africa, but that's where the African continent essentially is. We're at a catch-22 situation. Do we develop young people and fear that they're going to leave and go to the Europe and the Americas of this world, or do we just let them be and they're going to stay in the continent? And I think, you know, a lot of statistics have been thrown around about youth unemploymentness. I mean, in some countries in Africa, it's as high as 70%. That's shocking. And that's testimony to how we're not being invested in, and we stay. And it's largely because we don't have a choice, we have to stay. I mean, in South Africa, if you look at the ages of young people between the ages of 14 and 24, you know, unemployment rate sometimes is as high as 60%. That is problematic. So then we need to be having conversations about how to alleviate youth unemployment. And I think the biggest thing, and it has been mentioned again throughout this forum, is entrepreneurship. I mean, education is not enough. I mean, I'm a student and I have a triple major, but the reality of the education system that we're in today's world, even from a global scale, is that we're being taught for degrees that we're not going to need by the time we graduate.
I think, firstly, any development needs to be human-centered. I think the idea that education is something which is there to bring people to the point where they contribute economically is not necessarily a viable way of looking at the whole thing. I think that the human beings are naturally enterprising, and I think a much broader focus on human development, human capital development in Africa, will bring us much closer to the long-term goals that we would like to see. I think, I mean, a good example of development and investment is not broad-based is in, I mean, South Africa, a number of companies in the financial sector have grown by hundreds of percentage points, but they've shed jobs in their labor force.
In not so long ago history of Africa, we have seen young people actually liberate or take part in the liberation of Africa from colonialism, from apartheid, from racial segregation and all. But I think that the current youth have the ability and potential to liberate Africa from issues like disease, issues like corruption, and of course poverty. But one very important thing is that Africa has been, in way of dealing with African issues, we have been more reactive as opposed to proactive. We look forward to treating symptoms as opposed to root causes.
There are incentives that motivate us to pursue a certain career, and among those are the ones that get us to the top of the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So as much as it's nice to have a good salary and to make a lot of money, to make people happy, there is this ultimate fulfillment, psychological, the reward for knowing that you've been teaching, that you participate in making a CEO or a president, or just anyone, and to know that maybe you cured someone, you saved someone's life by treating a wound normally. I think that's a fulfillment that is necessary to anyone's life.